This is ParaNorman on our 31 spooky movies of Halloween. Let's talk about a masterpiece. Not just a great animated film, not just a great spooky movie, but a genuinely profound, heartfelt, and hilarious work of art. The kind of movie that sneaks up behind you and then tasers you and whispers, "Surprise! I'm gonna make you cry about forgiveness, empathy, and the dangers of judging others by how they look." Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about ParaNorman. Released in 2012 by the stop-motion wizards at Laika Studios, the same brilliant, deranged maniacs behind Coraline, the Box Trolls, and Kubo and the Two Strings, which is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, ParaNorman is one of those rare movies that can make you laugh, creep you out, and then emotionally uppercut you in the heart without warning. It is a film that wears its Halloween aesthetic proudly. Ghosts, zombies, witches, haunted forests, a cursed town, and yes, even a pitchfork-wielding mob of terrified locals. But underneath all of that spooky goodness lies a movie with something real and important to say, and rather than lecturing you, it says it in the most beautiful way possible. But before we get into the deep stuff, let's go shallow and talk about the surface, because the surface of this movie looks incredible. This is one of the most gorgeous stop-motion films ever made. The texture, the lighting, the subtle movements of every character, even the ones in the background. ParaNorman is art in motion. You can practically feel the fingerprints on the set, the detail in every crooked fence and every glowing jack-o'-lantern. It is lovingly handcrafted, and you can tell that the people who worked on this film put pieces of their soul into every frame, or at least bits of their fingers into every frame because of hot glue burns, just to make it happen. So what's this movie about? Well, our hero is Norman Babcock. He's your typical misunderstood kid, if your typical misunderstood kid can see and talk to ghosts. He chats with dead people on the way to school. He greets his grandmother, who's been deceased for years, like it's the most normal thing in the world. He's kind, he's gentle, he's a little bit introverted and a little awkward, but that doesn't matter because he's also weird. And we all know that in middle school, weird is basically a social death sentence. Norman is bullied relentlessly. His classmates think he's a freak, and even his family struggles to understand him. There's an absolutely heartbreaking scene in this movie where his father scolds him for talking to ghosts and tells him to stop embarrassing the family. And at one point, Norman says, "I didn't want to be born this way," and the father says, "Yeah, we didn't either." And it's basically Chicken Little, that scene in Chicken Little, done right. And right there, before the zombies show up, before we learn about the curse and the witches and everything else, before the emotional gut punch finale, you know this movie is something special. Because ParaNorman isn't really about ghosts or witches or curses. That's just a bonus. It's about being different. It's about how we treat the people who don't fit in, and what happens when fear turns into unchecked cruelty. But that's the trick of ParaNorman. It hides that heavy message inside a smart, hilarious, and genuinely scary story. When Norman learns that his small New England town was cursed centuries ago by a witch who, well, let's just say there's a bit of a surprise about what the witch actually is, he's tasked with stopping the curse before it destroys everything, and naturally he screws it up. So he's got to be joined by a cast of misfits. His equally weird friend Neil, a short, chubby little ball of sunshine who deserves his own character spin-off, his cheerleader sister Courtney, who's way too full of herself, and the hilariously dense jock Mitch, and the school bully Alvin, who's so stupid he'd probably lose an argument with a doorknob. Hey, did you know Alvin is voiced by McLovin from Superbad? They got a nerd to voice a bully, and that's amazing. The gang ends up fighting off zombies, dodging angry mobs, and trying to uncover the truth behind the witch's curse. And here's where the movie flips expectations straight upside down. You think it's going to be a classic good versus evil story, right? Zombies are bad. The witch is bad. Norman is good. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, no. ParaNorman doesn't take the easy way out. It never does. It turns out the zombies aren't villains. They're victims. The witch wasn't evil. She's frightened. And the heroes of the past, the adults who condemned her, were actually the ones who caused everything. In other words, ParaNorman says the quiet part out loud, that sometimes the real monsters are the ones pointing fingers. That is such a gutsy and surprising message for a movie marketed at kids. It doesn't dumb anything down. It trusts its audience, young and old, to handle moral complexity. It says that cruelty often comes from fear, that forgiveness is stronger than revenge, and that judging people for being different leads to tragedy, whether it's a witch trial in the 1600s or a bullied kid in the modern day. This is what I mean. Kids' movies do not have to be dumbed down garbage. They can be quality. They can be amazing. They could be like ParaNorman. And Norman, bless his spooky little soul, realizes that he and the witch are the same. Both outcasts, both misunderstood, both terrified of the world that hates them. Their final confrontation isn't a big battle. It's a conversation. A quiet, beautiful, introspective, tear-filled moment where Norman tells her that being angry forever won't make the pain go away. It's literally breaking a cycle. He's just a kid, but he tells her something to be profound. You don't have to be afraid anymore. And I'm not ashamed. I'm almost tearing up now because that gets me every time. I've seen this movie a dozen times, and every single time I'm sitting there, eyes misting up, pretending that I'm just allergic to heartwarming animation. And let's talk about the script, the writing. The script is by Chris Butler, and it's so sharp it could cut glass. Every joke lands. I mean, every single perfectly timed joke lands. Even the balance between humor and horror is just perfect. It's packed with enough clever nods to classic horror films, Halloween, Night of the Living Dead, Friday the 13th, but never becomes a parody. It loves those movies. It's not trying to copy them. It's carving its own pumpkin. Thank you very much. Folks, they show a fake movie at the beginning, a horror movie, and they frame it in such a hilarious way that just watching that fake horror movie makes me laugh because the humor is just beautifully timed. And the characters are all hilarious in their own way. Neil is always the pudgy optimist, has some of the best lines in the movie, especially when he tells Norman, "If my dog is a ghost, that means he still loves me." That's the kind of line that melts your heart while you're laughing. Mitch, the muscle-bound himbo of the group. Turn this off if you haven't seen the end of the movie. Turn this off. After being lusted after by the cheerleader for the entire movie, turns out to be openly gay. And the movie drops it so casually and so respectfully that it's both revolutionary and refreshingly normal. He's just Mitch, he's strong, he's kind, and he's taken. Deal with it. In a movie about judging people just based on the way they look, what a great thing to do. Every voice performance is perfect. Cody Smith-McPhee, nails Norman's shy, sincere tone. Anna Kendrick's Courtney is hilarious as the well-meaning but clueless sister. Casey Affleck's Mitch steals absolutely every scene he's in. And Christopher Mintz-Plasse turns the bully Alvin into something strangely lovable by the end. I really hope I pronounced that name correctly. And the score. Oh, John Byron delivers something haunting and whimsical all at once. It's playful and eerie, full of theremins, toy pianos, melancholy strings that perfectly capture that Halloween feeling, that mix of excitement and fear and childhood nostalgia. But the real magic of ParaNorman is how it never forgets its heart. This movie reminds us that people fear what they don't understand. and that understanding takes courage. Norman doesn't fight with fists or fireballs, he fights with empathy. He looks at centuries-old spirit filled with rage and says, "Hey, I get it. I've been there too." That's not just good writing, that's soul food. And in today's political and social climate, that is a message that we need to spread once again. And visually, every frame is a work of art. The fog-shrouded town, the glowing green curse, the neon pink flashbacks to Aggie's memories, the weird witch storm. It's like Halloween candy for your eyes. You can tell Laika poured its entire heart into this film down to the last meticulously crafted eyebrow. By God, why doesn't the studio make $1 billion with every movie? Why does every movie they put out bomb? The universe is not fair. So ParaNorman is a perfect Halloween movie because it's not just about ghosts. It's about why we tell ghost stories. We tell them to face our fears, to understand our past, and to find connection to the things that scare us. And if that's not the spirit of Halloween, I don't know what is. ParaNorman is smart. It's spooky, moving, and hysterically funny. It's a rare film that works for kids, adults, and everyone in between. It is a plea for compassion, wrapped in a zombie movie. It's proof that stop motion is not a dying art form. It's alive, well, and very, very weird. In a world where cruelty and judgment seem louder than ever, ParaNorman reminds us that kindness still matters, that being different is not a curse, it is a gift, and that the bravest thing you can do is stand up for the misunderstood. Even if that misunderstood person is the ghost of a witch who apparently wants to kill everybody. So grab your popcorn, dim the lights, and let this movie haunt your heart in the best possible way. And that is why you should make ParaNorman one of your 31 spooky movies of Halloween. No, seriously, why does every Laika movie bomb at the box office? It makes no sense. I mean, absolute garbage will make $200 million and then Missing Link goes to theaters and makes $12.13. It is not fair. I hate it. And next time Laika releases a movie, go see it. I don't care what it is. You know what? ParaNorman, right now, it is October, mid-October. I don't know the date. Look it up. ParaNorman is getting released in theaters again. If you have not seen this movie, go see it. And don't start on me that the characters are ugly, because you know what you're doing? You're judging them by the way they look, and that's what the movie says not to do. Anyway, if you don't want to be judgmental, you know what to do. Right down there in the video description is a link to my Patreon. You can donate as little as $5 a month or more, or you can become a YouTube channel member. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time whenever I bring out another hauntingly good Halloween movie, or a bad one. I don't know. We'll see what happens.